All right, welcome to Upper Creek with Two Paddles. This is episode 18. Me and Blake are feeling a little bit creeped out tonight.
Don't you know we sail the high seas?
I should have known you were going to do that. We are at an undisclosed location. We're at an abandoned school. This is where I grew up. Well, it's creepy, but I think it's not that creepy. But we'll see how creepy it gets as it gets later on in the episode.
No, it's pretty cool. I like this. I think the table makes it creepy. To be honest, it's like
we made it more creepy than it actually is.
But also just because it's like, it's like you so clearly see like how time just snatches some stuff after, I mean, how long has this building been in before? Like you said, like only
about 50 years probably.
That's so crazy.
Maybe 30 to 40. I don't know if it was in the 90s. I think it was in the 70s.
Because you got to think it was probably in better shape the first 10 years.
Right. And then, a bunch of people broke out the windows to strip it of all its precious metals. Like, they took all the copper out of it and did all that.
Man.
But
golly.
Yeah, happy Halloween, dude.
Happy Halloween.
It's crazy. We're actually recording this on the 21st, but happy Halloween. This is going to come out. Oh, my God, dude. Halloween's such a fun time of the year.
Dude, October's my favorite time of year.
It's such a fun time of the year.
It's full moon, harvest, flood tide.
It sparks the festivities of the holiday season. It really does.
Right. I mean, I don't know why October is so great. I think if you took a poll, October would be one of the leading months for favorite months.
Yeah, probably. I would think so. October's such a dope month. Do you want to jump into some topics? How do you want to start this off? We got a little time.
We have to explain what we are. I mean, because it's maybe not totally obvious, but you're pretty obvious, but
I hope you can tell who I am.
Give some guesses.
You got to watch the video to see what I'm doing, but have you any idea why a raven is like a writing desk?
Why so?
Your guess is as good as mine. Well, yeah, I'm the Mad Hatter. Blake is...
I'm a pirate.
Generic.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. I feel like I said, I've always I've dreamed about being a pirate. Yeah. And I realized,
it's your alter ego.
Maybe.
I think so.
Could have been a pirate. I would love to sail the seas, but at the same time, it's so creepy, man. I was reading up on some scary sea tales.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude.
You got one for us?
Well, I think there's a couple
or whatever.
There's a couple recurring themes. You know what I mean? You can see you hear these stories.
Yeah.
And most of them take place around the Cape of Good Hope in Africa.
Okay.
That's notorious for rough seas.
I feel like that has to be the most treacherous part of leaving that around
and
that
South America.
Cape. Ooh.
But a lot more of the stories are from there and the Northern Passage. So I was kind of telling you earlier, there's quite a few tales of, ships, big ships, they might have a crew of 12 to 20 people sail up, to Greenland, and they just get caught in a winter storm, and next thing you know, their entire crew is frozen adrift in the Arctic Ocean.
Christ.
Frozen alive. And
just a ghost ship.
Then they get found years later by explorers, and they're still frozen.
Jesus, oh my God,
dude. So that's a recurring one,
dude. I've said the open water for me is easily the most terrifying thing ever. Is being lost in open water, especially lost in the Arctic. Same thing, just miles and miles and miles around you of nothingness.
Dude, and then imagine how badass the motherfuckers were who colonized the Asian Polynesian islands. Those are some badass motherfuckers, dude. Are you fucking kidding me?
Just let's see what we can find. Just for the fun of it, just fuck it, let's pack up the raft and let's see what we can find.
I don't know how
advanced.
I think it was probably out of desperation.
Man.
You know, like if you're born on an island, right?
I'm sure that has a lot to do with
and
it.
no one's like controlling people having kids. And the next
Right.
thing you're on an island that has limited resources, little to no connection with outside people or resources.
Dude.
And you know, everybody has 6 kids, and next thing you know, like, holy shit, we got to go find some shit. You know what I mean? We got to go find some fresh water. We got to go find some more food. We got
Down with the Red Queen.
Jeez.
Sorry.
Next thing you know, the water's over your head because of a fucking storm surge. Your island's only like, this volcanic islands. Anyway, I'm sorry.
No, like,
But dude,
oh my
yeah,
God.
sailing around the Cape of Good Hope of Africa.
Dude, I've
Like-
got a scary story for you.
Please.
You know, like how everybody hates that feeling when you have to sneeze, but you don't?
Of course.
I had that happen probably over 100 times in a 48-hour period.
What?
It sucked.
Why? Oh,
That's a
when you were
scary
si-
story.
When you were
for
sick?
me. Yeah, that sucks. You know, they say the devil gets stronger every time that happens.
So terrible.
Because the
dude.
devil's the one who steals that joy from you.
Oh my God. Maybe so.
What are your thoughts on hay rides?
Hay rides?
Yes.
I don't know. I don't really like to drive. You know, I wouldn't want to be just trotting about in the back of a hayride. I
Just
don't
in the
think
back of a
anymore.
trailer, just chilling in the hay.
At this point,
Nice fall weather.
Where am I going?
Would you take Jackson on a hayride?
I mean, if I had to, you know what I mean? Like, man, I was like, I really want to do the hayride. And I'd be like, are you like really the hayride? You know what I mean? We're just gonna sit and be pulled around by a tractor sitting on some hay. I'd rather get lost in the corn maze.
Yeah.
But I've never. I'm gonna be honest. I've never really gotten lost in a really good corn maze, and I would really like to.
What's the one in Anderson? It's called like something Downs. I don't know.
Denver Downs.
Denver Downs. That's a cool place. We went there last year, or no, 2020. We went there fall of 2020.
Did you get lost in the maze?
A little bit.
Is it
yeah.
pretty good?
It's a good maze. I don't think we actually found the actual exit. We just found a cut through the corn that brought us to the other side, and we were like, "Oh, that's it." Oh yeah, I don't think we found like the actual exit.
Right. Damn, dude. Yeah, I like the corn maze, but no, I don't
Corn maze
know.
is cool. Yeah, hayrides suck.
Hey, why the hayride?
I don't know. Yeah, exactly. Why? Like, where are we going?
I like the food. I like the autumn food. I've been cooking a lot of like October food recently.
What do you mean? Give me an example.
Like I made some tomato soup. You know what I mean? Like some onion and tomato soup, like some fresh onion and tomato soup. I made it with like a really just nice fresh cheese bread, like with a homemade dough.
Yeah, just a nice hearty. Yeah,
It was so good.
that is definitely fall food. That's what you need.
I kind of got. I'm gonna be honest. I got the flavor of the tomato soup wrong.
Yeah.
I used onion.
Dude, I love.
I should have just roasted garlic and
Yeah.
gone minimal with the onion because the tomato
Onion
has
was
such
too much.
the tomato has such a subtle flavor. You know what I mean? So it's like the
Yeah.
onion has such a powerful flavor. So I don't know. I think I overdid it on the onion.
Dude, I love a
So I'm
nice
gonna
beef
do it again.
stew. But I wrote down a little bit of the history of Halloween. So it started as a pagan religion. I think most people know that, right? Did you know that?
For white for Westerners, yeah.
It was part of the Celtic festival of Samhain. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Dude, yeah.
And it was a pagan celebration to welcome the harvest of the end of summer. In the 8th century, Pope Gregory III designated November 1st as All Saints' Day. And then the day before All Saints' Day became known as All Hallows' Eve, which would be October 31st, which then became Halloween. And the Celtic people believed that the festival of Samhain, that during the festival of Samhain, that spirits freely walk the earth. I don't know if it was
Dude, there's a similar story with a sect of Christians. They were like, I think, I don't even want to put them in a place and time, but it was a sect of Christians who was writing about like they would have like a sacred moment, and they would go to where they buried their dead,
Yeah.
and they would drink a like I think it was a brew of alcohol, and apparently they wrote about how their dead would like come and be with them on that night. Like somehow, yeah, like they wrote specifically about like how the dead would come back to be
In like a
with them.
positive, like a comforting way.
Yeah. Like they communed with their lost, like very like.
I wonder.
Literally.
So like, all right, I'll continue the history, and then I've got some questions. But like, so people, the reason people began wearing costumes is because it was a way to disguise themselves from the spirits. And that way the spirits didn't try to possess them or carry them along in their path.
That's interesting.
And the history of lighting candles or lanterns on Halloween was like a gesture to the spirits to guide them and light the way if they were searching for the afterlife. So lighting candles and having like certain Halloween lights comes from the tradition of we're trying to light the way for the spirits. With that being said, all the spirits here surrounding us in this building, we come with the utmost respect.
Of course.
Like I've grown up in this town forever.
I'm a peaceful old spirit.
We're here to respect you, not make fun of you or use you. Or we respect the souls that presided here. And I mean, it's not like it's an asylum or anything. It was an elementary school, but still.
But you like, let's be honest. Like, do you think that somehow, and due to our modern culture, that we've lost that connection to spirituality? Or like,
I was going to ask, do you think all of these traditions and tales speak of a time where we maybe had a better connection to the afterlife and the spirit world? Like, it seems like there's certain religions or certain civilizations that may have been more involved in the spirit life and had more of a connection to the spirit life based on the things that they wrote down.
The Egyptians
that like
were captivated by death, right?
Right.
I mean, that was a fixation of their society.
So, I mean, do you think that there is a spirit realm?
I don't know.
I don't either.
I think we really want there to be. I think that we really, really want there to be, and we're trying to make one, even if there's not.
Right.
Like I really think that's kind of what we're doing. In some ways,
like do you
with
like
our intelligence,
trying to make one? Like we hope that
we're trying to seed a consciousness that lives on that we can be a part of forever. In some ways, but I don't want to get too abstract about that.
Well, do you think a big factor is that like we long for a time where we'll be able to reconnect with our loved ones? Like I think a lot of people hold on to the afterlife as an idea that I'll be able to speak with my grandfather again, or I'll be able to reconnect with some of the loved ones that I've lost.
But even that goes back to your origins, right? Like our desire to know where we came from and how we got here and how we're a part of the story. You know what I mean? It's on both. We're so ingrained into a continuum, and we love it, and we want to be a part of that eternal continuum.
You said you didn't want to get too abstract about it.
I know.
But yeah, I don't know. It just seems like.
But back to the question: do you think that we've lost it? Like, I
don't know that we've lost it. It feels like
because I've never experienced it.
I haven't either. It feels like. All right, so that can transition us into what we've personally experienced or been around. Like, I remember as a very, very young kid, like would go into my neighbor's house. And one time we went into my neighbor's house and we opened the front door and we heard this it sounded like a lion's roar. But like, it was so strange. It was just like, and we just went like running out of there. And like I'm thinking like maybe it was just the sound of the door, maybe it's an old squeaky door, maybe there was a noise we didn't account for, but it was so scary that we just ran out. And I would think like we were like I don't know, like 9 and 6, like we would have known what a door sounded like. I feel like I just remembered it as being something scarier than that.
Yeah, I've never encountered like what I thought would be a spirit. Like here in like
I've always
a physical
felt like I
way
had an
that I can
explanation.
perceive.
Like a big one is Barry, my sister, went down to the cabin, which is this little cabin we have in the woods. Like it would be creepy to anybody who hasn't been there a lot. right? Is that fair to say? I mean, you've been there a few amount of times.
Yeah,
Like, it'd be creepy to anybody who's not just familiar with us and know that that's our property.
Old
Like, yeah.
stuffed animals in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, but like, I've never experienced anything creepy there. I've been camping there my entire life since I was a kid. But Barry and her friends went down there because Barry, being the youngest and being a girl, probably didn't stay down there as much as we did because we stayed for like Boy Scouts and random stuff like that camping. But like, she went down there with her friends with the expectation to be creeped out. And then her 3 friends were sitting in the cabin and they heard a noise that they swore was a car door slam. And they swear that they heard a woman's voice. And then they opened the door and nothing was there. And the way I explain it is, well, you all 3 were in the same headspace. You went down there in order to try to be creeped out. Your consciousness was expecting something. And if you heard any noise, maybe your brain turned it into something you perceived as creepy. Regardless of whether or not it was creepy, maybe like a squirrel stepped on a couple twigs and that's what the woman's voice was. Or maybe like anything, maybe a deer scattered.
I don't know.
Like, I just personally think that when you're going to a place in order, like with the anticipation of being creeped out, any little noise that you hear that you can't make sense of is going to manifest itself as something really, really creepy in your own head. And I believe that that's a way more possible than like somebody being down there that night. That's just the way I look at it.
You mentioned your cabin. One of the creepiest things that has ever happened to me was at your cabin. And it was me and you, and I think maybe we were there with like Shamik and I can't remember who I was. It was like
probably
just a few of us.
Yeah.
And me and you were walking back to the cabin from your cars. It was too muddy to drive our cars to and from the cabin. That's like a quarter-mile walk or something.
1/8 maybe.
And dude, there was a what I thought was a large dog.
Really?
Yeah, you don't remember this?
No.
So we were walking back.
I was probably fucked up.
I don't think. I mean, maybe, but like, so
I'm just thinking,
we were
if it
walking
was
back
like late high school days and we were at the cabin, there was probably some nefarious activities going on.
No.
Or at least high as hell.
So we were walking back, and I know there was some like a dog, it looked like a wild big dog.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was wild, but it was kind of like tracking our steps, like, and it would like lay down and get up and kind of walk along with us. It was the weirdest fucking thing, dude. And I was so freaked out by it because I've been bitten by multiple dogs in my life. I don't know whether I'm just fucking biteable. I don't fucking know.
So here's my explanation.
So like I saw a dog.
That
and it wasn't any of your dogs.
Where that cabin has neighbors.
It was weird.
There could have just been a dog.
It was just weird.
Yeah, I'm sure it was weird.
It was almost like the dog was like dying or something.
Oh, don't say that. That makes it way creepier.
It was weird. It was kind of, I don't know what was happening.
Yeah, that's strange. I don't know that I've never had like Denise in our old trailer used to say that she would see like the body of someone at the end of the hallway. And like every time she went to the bathroom.
In what house?
And it was an old trailer in Monarch. Like you don't know, you're not familiar with it, but like just she would say like if she had to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, like often she would see like an entity that she described as like a large man kind of at the end of the hallway. And I'm like, well, I never saw it. I stayed in that house many nights. Every time I went to the bathroom, I had it in mind because I was creeped out ever since she told me, but I never saw it.
And like I said, I've my sister Reagan, she is very adamant that she has seen things.
Dude, Connor Randall, my childhood best friend, used to tell me that she saw a little girl in the woods at night.
But maybe I don't know.
I don't know,
you know what I'm
dude.
saying? Like, it's so hard to prove every single person wrong. That's what the problem
so
is.
many of our we know perception is very fallible.
But there's probably a few of them motherfuckers that it's like
I've seen some shit.
So and that's what makes me think is like there's almost some truth to everything.
I mean, well, how
does
could
that
we
make sense
know?
to you?
Like,
Like, there's almost some truth.
it's
to
kind of like
everything.
aliens. Like, I've never seen anything.
But exactly.
Like, I don't know, man. Maybe we'll see a ghost and an alien tonight.
Dude.
I don't know, man. Oh, do you know when they started carving jack-o'-lanterns?
Wow.
So, again, Halloween started in Ireland, but the Irish actually started carving turnips because they said that see screenshot. Let's see, I thought of this.
You're talking about, the origins of
Carving jack-o'-lanterns.
right.
So the origins of Halloween. So Halloween stemmed in Ireland with
But
the pagan religions.
That's probably a very Western point of view. Like, I'm sure they had some.
Yeah, I'm sure there may be later.
Because, like, think about the Aztec culture that was completely unrelated.
Well,
They
yeah,
had
like,
their Day of the Dead, and I'm sure there's some African.
but they're all
traditions
different
where
times
they're-
of the year. I'm specifically talking about our Western idea of Halloween.
Gotcha. That's true.
So it's allegedly based on a legend about a man named Stingy Jack, who repeatedly trapped the devil and only let him go on the condition that Jack would never go to hell. So this dude's like finding the devil and capturing it and being like, listen, I'll let you go if I never go to hell.
You wrangle the devil.
But when Jack died, he learned that heaven did not want his soul either.
Oh no.
So he was forced to wander the earth as a ghost for eternity.
Oh my jeez.
The devil gave Jack a burning lump of coal carved out in a carved out turnip to light his way. And that legend eventually led the locals of that area to start leaving carved turnips with candles in them to ward off the evil spirits.
Oh my god. Dude, it's crazy because like
folktales come from something.
right. That's what I'm saying. Like just like the flood.
It's so scary
Just
to think
like
about like what
just like the tales of the apocalypse.
But
and
then
war.
another part of me goes like, well, what if it was just some fucking creep and they couldn't see him because he was good at sneaking, and like they just didn't have the science to explain all the creepy shit that they thought was true back then.
It's like we want to believe it though.
Dude, I think
Don't we?
I still continue to think that the scariest thing on this planet are humans. We are terrifying creatures. Like, think about the Salem witch trials.
Right.
Sane people
Right.
burn motherfuckers, but just because of alleged acts that they may have been committing, or like you were freaking out one night and we burned you at the stake because we thought you were a witch.
Oh, you think you can just have 2 wives?
Or dude,
Burn.
they would drown women,
Oh yeah.
and they said if she's a witch, she'll get out.
That's so wild.
What
dude.
fucking logic is that?
It's none.
If she's a witch, she'll escape. Like, okay, then what do we do with her? We're just gonna drown this innocent person, hoping that we free a witch from her? What kind of logic is that? What sense does that make whatsoever?
What do you think about that idea that they were like on ergot or whatever?
I think that makes the most sense. And that kind of goes hand in hand with what I'm saying about connected consciousness, because there was a mass hysteria, and like,
or if you hated your wife, you just
there was this mass hysteria because people were infected with this ergot and they were tripping their fucking balls off.
Does that really, like, what are the effects of that?
I have no clue. I think it's similar to like morning glories. Like, it's just a bad like LSD trip. But anyway, like their consciousnesses kind of came together, and in a way they were all on the same wavelength, even though they were freaking out and going crazy, and everybody acted in a similar way. And then the locals reacted also in a similar way. Like, I don't know. It's hard to really explain what could have happened without being there, obviously.
But like, I think the great point is we want it to be there. Like,
Yeah.
I really think we want it to be there. Like, even though I've never seen anything, and mostly something tells me that there's not a lot to 90% of it. Like, I want there to be some.
The consciousness connection is really what gets me, because like, have you ever heard of this thing that happened? I believe it was in Europe. I'm going to be really shady on this, and I'm sorry that I'm even bringing it up because I don't remember the specifics. But I heard about it on the Brain Food Show, which is like the most researched they stopped doing the podcast, but they were extremely well researched. Anyway, in like Europe or something, there was this thing that broke out, and the young women couldn't stop. It wasn't just young women, but people couldn't stop dancing. And it was like this mass hysteria that happened where there was, as far as we know, there were no like substances that were involved. It was just a mass hysteria. And these people were just dancing. They were dancing uncontrollably to the point where they were falling out in the streets and like almost on the border of death from exhaustion because they were dancing. And it turned out it was literally just mass hysteria. All it was a bunch of people were influenced enough by a few that were dancing that the whole town felt like they were infected with this disease that truly didn't actually exist. It was fully placebo. It was just mass hysteria.
What the fuck?
That is a proven case. That is something that actually happened. That's not just hearsay. Like that like is documented. Like and they would stop people from dancing because they thought if they went to this like certain well and were blessed from the water of the well, it would stop them. And it turned out that it did stop them through placebo. They believed enough that it had stopped them, and enough people had went there and stopped dancing that the more and more people believed that that was the cure, and they were able to like solve it. And it was 100% placebo. Like it was just fully mass hysteria, just a bunch of different people influenced by each other, and they fell to this odd like trap of consciousness, and like it was fully just a conscious connection where people were so influenced by each other's actions, and they were in such a paranoid state that they all fell into this like dancing disease that they thought it was, but it was nothing. Like our consciousnesses are finicky, dude.
I've even heard the idea that like there's possibly another fundamental force.
But I mean,
that we don't have a way to like.
We don't have a way to perceive a lot of things,
right?
So I think that makes a lot of sense.
And then when you throw in the fact that there could be layers of parallel universe that are seemingly separated
or different dimensions, but
maybe connected through a point of like is it possible that emotion leaves an imprint like gravity does on a location?
I don't know.
You know what I mean? Because like
I think that's totally possible.
It's like it's weird. Like
are
you like the world where the World Trade Centers fell, or I don't know. That's not right.
I feel no negative energy from where we are right now.
Not really.
I don't feel creeped out at all, actually.
No.
Like I'm more worried about like a bear or a cop pulling up than I am about like some evil spirit from the school.
Right.
I don't feel creeped out at all. There's a big empty hallway behind us, which is a little creepy.
Now that you said that, I thought I heard something back there.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. It's been raining all day. You heard some water drops. No. Shut your mouth.
Sure. Dude, the what do you call them? The stalagmites?
Yeah.
Those are the weirdest. I've never seen anything like
that. There's like water this roof is very leaky. Obviously, it's falling apart. And like the water drips down in certain areas, and it seems like it's dripping from a certain metal, and there's some mineral in the water, like I don't know if it's calcium,
it's depositing like a cave,
or some sort of zinc, but it's literally making a solid stalagmite growing from the ground from where this water's dripping out of the decaying ceiling of this building.
It's so weird.
It's so crazy.
I don't know, man. I wish I had the answer. Some people it seems like some people are like make it seem like they have the answers. It like, you know what I mean? They're like in tune.
I think a lot of that, like I wonder how much of that comes from people being so uneducated that they assume they have the answers when they don't have a very far-reaching enough mind to come up with other explanations. I think about that a lot, man.
Have you ever done a ghost tour?
No.
I did one in Savannah one time with my family, and it was so funny. There was this really nice lady. She was like a small, really nice lady. But anyway, she was walking us through the city, and in downtown Savannah.
Savannah? Dude, yeah. Savannah's like the most haunted city in America.
It's definitely one of them. But so they have a lot of streets that they had to build and expand to, develop.
Right.
that they just built over a huge cemetery right in the middle of town.
That's creepy.
And the reason that there's so many people dead is because, dude, the mosquitoes down on the coast where those intertidal creeks are, and there's
the
a bunch of swamp.
and the bogs, and
there's not mangroves in that far up, or in Savannah. It's more like
what
grassland.
am I thinking about?
It's more grassland.
The marsh. Excuse me. That's
exactly.
what I meant. That's what I meant. Not
But
mangroves.
the mosquitoes are fucking terrible, and they had a few real issues with, malaria.
Yeah.
And some other diseases from the mosquitoes. So they had to bury a lot of people. But they, that as we were doing the tour through the city, that we would walk down the street, and then she'd be like, all right, this building and such happened in this building.
Yeah.
And this is creepy for this reason, and people would like take pictures of the building. There was this one motherfucker in our group, because everybody, is taking pictures.
Right.
It's like a fucking tourist thing. There's always this person who thinks they gotta fucking, they gotta go. Look at this. This is look at this. This is something. You know what I mean? You see that in the window?
I will say I've taken pictures in a lot of creepy places, and you can't help but like look for that.
It's
like I'm gonna be looking through the video.
Same person every time.
I'm gonna be looking. Yeah. They just think, they assume like they're in that mind spot. Like I got something. But they're like that. That's kind of what I'm saying. Like they're looking to get something. Like, I'm not looking to get anything, but when I rewatch this, I'm going to be paying a fucking attention. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
It's for something about cameras, especially like if you're going around a creepy place at night and you've got the flash on, there's something extra creepy about that flash.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so creepy. I don't know what it is.
Mm. Yeah, dude, I don't know.
But yeah, like, stop talking about like disturbing the dead. Like, I don't know how much merit do you put into that idea that disturbing cemeteries disturbs the dead? Like, I mean, their soul's not there anymore, you would assume. Like, and that also kind of gets me into the question of like, how would you like to be buried?
I mean,
I just want to be thrown on the ground, dude.
I think that's one of the reasons. What if that's one of the reasons that we go to such lengths in our modern society to like just obliterate that body with chemicals and, like make sure that motherfucker we're draining the blood, we're pumping it full of formaldehyde, we're gonna, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Like, I think that might have something to do with like how, because you asked how I would like to be buried.
Just throw me in the ground.
Exactly. Like, I really want.
I don't want to be in a steel cage.
Go back to the earth.
Yeah, I want to go back to the earth. I don't.
Dig like
if it were legal,
dig like an 8-foot hole.
Yeah, but unfortunately, that's not even legal.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, if it were legal, I would love. No, don't put any chemicals. Don't embalm me. Don't do any of that bullshit. Just throw me in the fucking ground. Let me rot.
I would.
That's how I want to. That's how I want to be buried.
I would really.
And then maybe
if
throw
I could choose. I would be buried in where I'm from in Union.
Yeah.
Where I grew up.
Yeah.
Like
just in the ground.
In one of those fucking gullies that I played in when I was a kid.
Maybe throw like a couple tree seeds in there. Have some trees grow out of me. Then your that's the most beautiful way I can think of.
Plant like a fucking sick tree.
Instead of having a tombstone that your family visits, bury me with the seed of a tree or with a sapling.
That's a good idea.
And visit that tree and remember me through that life. That's how I want to go out, man. And I don't like speaking on like some people is like, I think I got something. I think I got something. Or like some people feeling like they have a deeper connection, or like some people being more creeped out than others. Like, I wonder how much the spirits respect your intent. Like, if you're coming to a place like if you came to this school.
Sometimes they obviously don't give a fuck if you ever watched The Exorcist.
But also those are like demons, not just spirits.
Right.
So that might be a big difference between demons and spirits. But like say, if I came to this school with a can of spray paint and was destroying shit and ripping metal out, and spray painting on the wall, versus I'm coming here because this is a place that I respect, that I've grown up around, that I love. Do the spirits know that?
Apply that same concept, because it's not a very controversial thing to say that people have used psychedelics to connect with spirits
No, not at all.
or
Not
connect
at all.
with,
And then
the dead and
intent is a big thing
the
with that.
eternal. And, if you go into that with a malicious intent, like, maybe you want, you're fixated on power, and somehow those things,
Is it karma?
I don't know, but like I've heard stories about how, like the LSD thing, like they possessed was fucking
MK Ultra?
MK Ultra, but a product of that was the Manson
Charles
family.
Manson, yeah.
Like he used acid to sort of captivate this group of people, and intent was so important. And you know what I mean? Like and I've heard similar stories about
So are you
ancient
saying,
Aztec
what are you getting
cultures
at?
that they used the mushrooms to captivate people, and they led massacres.
So do you think do you think that's a spiritual, like obviously
I'm
a lot
saying
of
intent is
intent's a huge
hugely
thing.
important. Yeah.
But do you think that psychedelics are a way to access the spirit realm? Do you think that's hand in hand? Do you think that's the spirit realm? Do you think it's a different dimension? Like,
I've never encountered spirits personally.
I haven't either. But
I've never
my predisposition leads me to not go into psychedelics with that intent.
Right.
So
Right.
So I'm not sure. Like, there's no way to know. Like, we're just a product of what we've experienced.
Huh. That's interesting because it points to that.
You're right in the mic.
It points to that the kind of the psychedelic experience, at least,
I just thought
is
I heard
coming
something.
from you in some ways because it's not giving everybody the same message.
So does that?
Do you know what I mean? It can be used and twisted and manipulated.
Yeah.
With the human consciousness.
This is way too in the weeds to be doing on this episode, but like,
I have no idea if it's tied into the spirit realm though.
do you think that points to consciousness being this all-encompassing thing that we individually tap into?
I think so.
That's how you like,
I really think that our consciousness stems
and obviously
directly from us.
I'm speaking in the deeper meaning, not consciousness as in I know where I'm at, I know my surroundings. Consciousness as in I think, therefore I am. I have an identity. It's much different than like an alligator's consciousness. Like I'm not talking about
right.
survival, primal consciousness.
No,
I'm talking
no.
about like
But I think it's a part
like
of building,
spiritual consciousness.
I think we all have our own consciousness, and what we have built through a collective consciousness is maybe the memories. Like think about PTSD, right? What if you saw somebody kill themselves, or you lost your mother or very abruptly or something like that, and you're traumatized by it, and it maybe your mind goes through some weird thing where it manifests images, or you know what I mean. Like I think that it's possible that could also have something to do with people seeing things. Because I don't necessarily trust everyone's mind. Not that I don't trust everyone's mind, but I think that
like
our
could it be a
consciousness
flashback?
Something, yeah.
In
maybe.
a way. That's a interesting idea.
But I think we've built a collective conscious memory of places, and of events, of people, of stories that kind of like live in us. And can our imagination is so powerful.
So
and
do
I
you
think that we can even we possibly through the existence of our consciousness built this spiritual realm. Like what if it was non-existent before us, and through we've collectively built.
That's interesting.
I don't know what I'm even trying. To say.
Okay, what I take from that, and I want to move on, but is like. When I talk about the universe, I like to say we are not part of the universe. We are the universe. Because we're not just some random growth on the universe. We are stardust that evolved to the point where we can ask where we came from.
Yeah,
we are the universe. So what if we are consciousness?
Exactly.
And like this whole thing was built on the fact that we even existed.
Right.
Like what if it was only minerals? In the universe, would there be a consciousness?
So it seems like
is consciousness a product of life?
Right. And does it live on past our physical bodies?
Or, dude, does it live on past like the one? What if there's one person left and all of us are still like in, the theoretical heaven, and we're like, damn, there's one fucking chicken left on the planet, and as soon as that one dies, it's lights out.
Oh my God.
And it's all just life.
Oh wow, that's weird. I don't know, man. I really don't know.
And okay, so to stay on that point a little bit, do you think that has a relation to time and place? Like, do you think there's any merit to the fact that like asylums are creepy, or like an old prison, or or somewhere where people were tortured? Do you think the time and place holds on to that emotion that happened through whatever went on in that place?
I think it could through our consciousness. Like we're consciously aware of
what
happened
we connect to it when we go back.
Exactly.
It's not necessarily held in those walls.
Right.
Kind of like, if they say you want to remember a dream, go back in the same position you were dreaming in.
You know how
when another human's in that place where somebody suffered so gravely, we can relate to it and we can tap into that.
You know how you walk into a room sometimes and it'll feel tense?
Yeah.
But it's not the room.
Right.
It's the room is heavy because of the people.
Yeah.
And
people would equate that to body langue or whatever.
Do you know? But you get what I'm saying?
I know where you're going.
You walk in a room that they fucking gave people, what do they call them? Lobotomies and shit.
Yeah.
And they were just holding them captive and doing evil shit to them. Then I don't know. I think that it's the same way. You and some people that are aware of that are going in there.
Okay, this is a random thought, but there's actually probably a lot of good energy in this school building because it was one of the first desegregated schools in Union County.
Really?
Yeah. Or maybe that means there's more bad energy.
Did your grandmother go to school here?
No. I mean, one of them might have went to school here, yeah. I was thinking of teaching.
Oh, no, because you said, when was it built?
It was demolished in the 70s. But my grandmother was born in 1944.
Right.
So she easily could have went to elementary school here. I don't think she did, though, because I don't think she grew up in No, she definitely grew up in Santuck. I don't know. I have a lot of family history I'm weeding through to figure that out, but...
Yeah, just ask her.
I don't know, like I don't think so, but
I don't know. I struggle with the spirit thing though so much, dude. I struggle with it a lot.
It's very similar because we've never experienced it. It's very similar to aliens. Because who fucking knows? Who knows? Is it a dimensional thing?
I want it to be real.
Yeah, aliens are spirits.
I think it's just that
because I don't want spirits to be real. That's creepy.
No, I want spirits to be real because it means there is a continuation of our energetic.
But if you're just locked here in life,
essence.
do you think ghosts are in purgatory?
I don't.
Do you think this is the in between? They haven't found their way. Do you think we're lighting candles to guide them to the afterlife?
Well, if there's a purgatory, does there have to be a heaven and hell?
I think so.
So I don't know. I really don't know.
Because if I die, I don't want to just be locked to the same place forever.
It's weird because people get so mad at me. But just the idea of a hell where God torments.
Well, not God.
But they're there because God deemed them.
Fair enough.
Right?
It is. Yeah, it was up to God whether or not they go to hell, I assume.
Or is it up to their actions? Anyway, there's hell. There's hell, right?
Right.
And that makes sense sometimes because there's evil motherfuckers that do evil shit.
Yeah.
Right?
But do you think God would change those people and not banish them?
You would think that somehow I don't know, that he would somehow understand their predisposition or something.
Well, he's the one that created it.
But that's not true because if we have free will and we all have our choices. Because part of me feels like the idea of hell is silly because God is such an all-powerful, all-knowing thing. You would think that he would have sympathy for every single person's case.
So I like the idea.
So it's weird to me that there's a hell. It seems silly that there's a hell, but in some cases it literally makes sense that there's a hell.
Neil deGrasse Tyson says that if all of the stories are true, if there is a heaven and there is a hell, and we do have disease and famine and natural disaster on this planet, either the God is not all powerful or not all loving.
Right, I've heard of that explained. Yeah.
Because if he was all powerful and all loving, he wouldn't allow us to suffer.
If he was all loving, he'd be able to forgive everything.
So I tend to believe more that he's not all powerful. If there is a God if
that makes more sense to me.
All loving, but not all powerful, and that's why he can't defeat the devil.
Right.
Like, I mean, that's where my logic takes me.
Yeah. But it just seems like almost like a human idea. Does it ever feel that way?
Yeah, it's 100% a human idea. Like, it seems like something
I don't know.
that when we were developing our identity as a species and we were evolving from chimps, that we had no explanation as to what death is. And as intelligent creatures,
I think
obviously the first question we're going to ask is what happens when you die? Because it happens to everybody.
I think it's so much more complex than heaven and I wish it was as simple because we say nothing's black and white.
Yeah,
heaven and hell is black and white, right?
Yeah, I don't think it's that
like
simple.
it almost can't be.
Yeah,
like I wish there was a simpler answer, but it's probably far, far more complicated than we can even imagine. You know what I mean? Like, it's probably just...
Which makes me lean more towards the idea that this is just a fucking simulation.
I mean...
It doesn't make a difference. It doesn't change anything. It's still just a roll of the dice in the universe we had. But, like, if we want to start talking about heaven and hell and a creator... I'm definitely going to side more with the fact that, or with the idea that this might be a simulation than I am that there's just some fucking fairy in the clouds that poofed us into existence and said, let there be light. It makes a lot more sense to me that some extremely advanced alien species said, let there be light and turned on a simulation. That's logically, I follow that way more than I follow just some random fairy being like, yeah, here, big bang, boom, there you go. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. I don't follow that logic. But I follow the logic of an advanced civilization being like, yeah, let's see if we can fucking simulate one of these things.
Because that makes sense to us now because we literally can build realities.
And there's a lot of things that don't make sense and that we don't understand that we may come to understand in the future.
Yeah.
So there's no way to say what's wrong or right.
We literally built God in our image.
Yeah. And then we blamed it on him. We said he built us in his image. We blamed it on him, dude.
It's such a fucking human thing to do.
Yeah, God might be a fucking butterfly. Who knows?
It's so weird. I don't know, man. I think that the amalgamation of spirits is... I think that might be real. I really do. I really think that there's some crazy, powerful... You know how we have conflict in our world?
Yeah.
It's probably something like that. Like, that's mostly peaceful... But occasionally there's this like energetic like war of spiritual force.
Do you think evil in the real world could be a result of war in the spirit world?
I mean, I think yes. In some, but
like, what if World War III popping off right now is because the spirits are in an unrest right now?
Directly because of religion. So
even more logical.
I mean, let's be honest. It's.
Well, I mean, I don't think if Russia and Ukraine wasn't happening, I don't think we'd be calling it World War III.
Is anybody calling it that?
I am.
Kind of seems like it.
I mean, it's the two biggest powers that have popped off since World War II.
Yeah, it's weird. Why does the Eastern world and the Western world?
It's the spirits. They're fighting right now. It makes sense. Because we're so conflicted. This has been one of the first generations to where we're all involved in this technological world and all connected and all fighting about ideologies and all this. We're not in tune with the nature and the earth anymore. This is one of the first generations that's grown out of that. What if that has caused the spirit world to be at an unrest and now it's developing in the real world because the spirits are conflicted? And all the different spirits that people tap into are conflicted.
Like, think about how many things we have that distract us on a daily basis. Like,
I'm sure that's I mean, we're not personable.
If you only had candles to light and, you shit outside and you saw, like, maybe 20 people a year, you know what I mean?
So it's
and you lived in the woods and you were, like, way, way more in tune with the quiet and way more in tune with the dark.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you're going to be tuned in to a different
your own self
reality.
and a lot more, too, as well.
And
like,
all of a sudden, you're half in, half out.
You don't have these distractions every
blasted
day.
with DMT.
Right.
It's like, what the fuck?
But, like
Jesus, yeah,
Oh, man.
yeah.
Like you were saying, like a couple episodes back, do we manifest hardships and adversity?
Right, same thing.
Do we do that as a human species?
Right.
Like, but I don't know, because it's been very short time. Like, we've been at war for the past 100
I
years.
literally think it's all for self-preservation. I literally think.
Well, it doesn't seem like it right now.
Why not?
Because people are killing each other.
Over preserving their
I know, but if it was all about
life.
self-preservation, then they would come together, not be warring.
Huh.
If the end goal was only self-preservation, then we could come together and have a peaceful meeting. So you do you, us do us. Let's chill. Let's live and thrive as a species.
And self-preservation of their own ideals.
If all of humanity lived for self-preservation,
Right.
we would have a global society right now. We would have a global government, and we would be exploiting space travel beyond anything.
Yeah, it's just not
If that was truly what most people cared about.
It's not that simple.
Most people care about control. It's human nature to want to control the people around you and the land and the materials around you. It's human nature. Yeah, that's the scariest thing. That's way more scary than spirits.
Man, the war that's going on there is just man.
I don't want to talk too much about it because it's it's just nobody wants to fucking talk about it.
It's quite the conundrum.
It is quite a conundrum. And like you can't speak for one side or the other without sounding like a bigot or sounding like a racist or sounding like whatever you want to say.
You definitely can.
But at the end of the day, I take Donald Trump's stance. I just want to see people stop dying.
That's a good point. Yeah.
And fuck Donald Trump, but I also like, bro, he's coming back.
Yeah.
He's coming back.
It's so frustrating though when
sorry, I was
the like because it's
political for a second.
It's the ideologies that are keeping people from being peaceful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's so sad. I wish it wasn't that way. But
well, we can't change any of that. Except we're doing the best we can, I suppose, by just having fun, not taking ourselves too seriously. That's the best we can do to better the positivity in humanity, I suppose.
It's so crazy because we're kind of so disconnected from it.
We're absolutely
it's not even our fight to fight almost. But is it?
But how many fights have America been in that aren't our fight?
Yeah, it's so weird.
America takes the stance that any fight is our fight. But again, this fight's not about control of materials as much as it is about ideology. And America has always been involved because we wanted to control the materials.
But
so how much are we going to be involved in this because it's not material based?
But it's also about a quality of life for a lot of those people.
I know it is, but I'm just saying America's involvement.
Live in dick shit.
Like, just get on my page for a second. Everything we've been involved with. Everything we've been involved with as our American military since the World Wars has been about our control of raw materials.
Right.
This is a huge thing popping off that's not at all about control of materials. So what do you think America's involvement will be when we have nothing to win as far as materialism is concerned, as far as control of raw materials? Do you think we're going to back off because we're not that worried? Like even Ukraine, that's a big, there's oil. There's a lot of things that we want to not be controlled by Russia.
I think we believe in how biblical the Middle East is. I think we're so invested.
I don't think our military works on beliefs. That's my whole point. When it comes to the money, are we going to be less involved because there's less material gain to have?
I don't know. I really don't know.
That's my only question. Like
probably.
I think spiritually,
I saw that Biden requested $106 million to split between Ukraine and Israel.
That's nothing though.
$106 billion.
Oh, billion. I thought you said million.
$106 billion to be split between.
Where the fuck is this money coming from?
Dude, they literally have infinite income.
There's millions of homeless.
Have you heard of
our
taxes?
Infrastructure is falling apart. Where has this money been? What are we doing? Let's save ourselves. The fuck are we doing?
We're trying to, like you said, control the world. That's exactly what we're trying to do. It's not even. It's not really
terrifying.
And
dude, if America gets involved,
but listen, part of it is because we are somehow involved. Because think about all the people that come to live here.
Yeah,
we have every race of people here.
Yeah,
every race of people, almost every single race of people is represented in America.
There's a huge percentage of people here, no matter what happens, is going to be in support of one side or the other. There's always America has that perspective. There's people here who come from those places.
Right.
we can't just act like it's somewhere far off in fucking Neverland that we're not going to have to worry about.
So fundamental and biblical, dude. Like Islam and Judaism over the Holy Land.
Yeah.
Like that is inexorably tied to our beliefs as Americans. Like America is still very much a Christian focus.
Let's get back to the fun.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. But it's just,
and somehow
we're just speculating. We're obviously not solving any problems.
No,
it's I don't think we're speaking for either side. But let's move back to something fun. It's fucking Halloween. That was
we don't have
most of our episodes. We start light, go really heavy, and then get back light for a little bit.
Yeah.
So let's move it back.
But peace for those people, man.
We vented our 2 cents about what's going on. We just want people to stop dying and fucking love each other.
I just can't imagine people, innocent civilians, getting slaughtered.
No, it's wild.
That's the kind of shit that'll have people seeing spirits right there.
Oh, absolutely, dude. That's also a big thing I think about being around here is the slavery that happened right here. We're in the back country of South Carolina. Like,
That's real.
How much negative, talk about spirits being connected to the land and the time. How much negativity is connected to these lands as a whole because of the atrocities that may have went down here. Like, I don't know. I want more lighthearted, spooky things to talk about.
That's interesting. Yeah, dude. We're getting deep and dark here.
Yeah, this is almost like too dark for just a Halloween episode. It's more like psychologically dark, not like fun Halloween joke, haunting dark.
Well, we're trying to get at it.
Oh, we got at it.
You know what I mean?
We got at it. Man.
I don't know. We still haven't.
Dude, think about the fact that children, put yourself 50 years ago. There was just rows of desks in this building, in this room. A teacher was sitting at the front writing things other than anime girl boobies on the board.
That's definitely the front.
No, she would have stood there. Definitely lined up this way, fit all these kids in. But just put yourself in like, we're sitting where a kid would have sat and paid attention to how to read a clock, how to read English. A teacher would have stood right there.
I wonder how much of what we have today will be left like 50 years from now.
Not a lot of information. That's the scary part.
Yeah, we're shitty at predicting stuff like that.
Well, we tackled this technological world without even looking back. And now we're in a point where if shit hit the fan tomorrow, there's a lot of information that's not going to be recoverable.
Yeah, no. Oh, man.
That's really scary, too. Like, whole civilizations have been lost. And we're most likely going to be one of them.
Unless our species evolves into something else and figures out a way.
Is it weird? Continue. Is that what makes us human? The fact that me and you can sit here knowing our place on the planet and speculating about when it will not be so anymore? Like, that's such an existential thing to be two people who have experienced enough life to kind of understand, like, all right, shit goes and shit comes. And
yeah.
But we're able to speculate beyond our own existence.
Right.
Is that I would imagine that's a big key to the development of humanity.
Oh yeah.
Is we can see beyond, like the founding fathers who wrote the Constitution saw beyond the first empire. They saw like we're the only species that can predict, or are we the only species that like elephants grieve, so that they understand the concept of death to an extent. I wonder if that's a big spark to the development of and a greater understanding and a community.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know. The more when we sit in silence in this place, it gets creepier. I swear I hear shit. Also, everything's just dripping because it's been raining and the ceiling is falling apart. You think this was a better spot than a cemetery? You think a cemetery would have been more creepy?
Yeah, cemetery would be fucked.
I don't know. Because this seems pretty creepy, but like, I mean, we're surrounded. There's like 7 cemeteries within a mile of us. And we're on plantation land.
We've heard many gunshots.
Well, I mean, that's just people hunting. It's deer season. Listen,
It
we're in the.
It was after dark, and they were if they were shooting deer, they missed a lot.
They did miss a few times.
Oh
Maybe
my
they got
God.
more than one.
It was a
They
good
got them a
night.
few deer. Man, but like, nah, like back here also,
Yeah.
as far as the law is concerned, don't shoot a deer after dark. Bro, nobody gives a fuck out here. That deer's on my property. That thing's my food. People don't give a fuck about here around here. Also, like, like,
Poaching?
I mean, but it's your deer on your property.
No, it's not.
Well, it's not your deer. Fair enough. It's not your deer, but it's on your
it's
property.
the state's asset.
Yeah, but it's on your property. What's the difference if you kill it 30 minutes before sunset and 30 minutes after sunset?
Oh well, that's
Not that I condone breaking the law.
As long as you have a tag, yeah.
I mean,
But the
I don't
overall
know how
number
many
of deer.
people give a fuck about that either.
I would hope most people. But
also, that being said, just because you may not have a tag, I don't think that means people are killing 12 deer. You know, even if you don't apply for your hunting license and you don't get your tags, you're still only probably killing 1 or 2 deer. You're killing within the limit of what, it's not going to be crazy to the population. But again, I don't condone that because, again, that's the state's assets, and they want to be able to monitor that. That's the whole reason we give out tags, is so the state can keep up with how many were killed by humans, how many, have a little bit better idea of the population. So, but again, I think most people, like, even if you didn't go you don't get a fishing license.
yes, I do. I do have a license. I have a 3-year license.
For a long time, you didn't have a license.
That's true.
But so, like, I mean, but you're also catching and releasing almost everything. You rarely catch to eat.
Almost everything.
And with fishing, you don't get tags or anything. But like, yeah, I mean,
There's bag limits.
it's definitely like the state wants to be able to keep up a little bit with how many people are
You
hunting.
have to
and-
nowadays.
Of course, we want to keep
You
everything in
have to.
check, which is a good thing. We're trying to, keep up with the environment and make sure it does everything it needs. But there's also more and more bear moving in here,
For sure.
which are going to have an effect on the population, which I'm sure we've already seen effects of.
We have bear season. So that's
Like-
management right there.
Within the last few years, I know there's been a lot more bears seen in this area specifically. Big bears.
I believe it.
Big bears.
It's bountiful.
Big bears.
Lots of oaks around here.
Yeah. Muscadines. I mean, farmers.
That's big.
Do you
too.
think bear like attack farms? Like find some peppers on the vine, some eggplants? You think bears are going after that?
I don't know, man.
You ever find bear tracks in your garden? Type in, let us know.
That would be crazy. I don't know, man.
My eggplants got ravaged by bears. I don't know.
I think they're probably pretty weary of humans.
Yeah, around here, because it's just black bear around here.
Yeah. And they have a way wider range of, like, they have their range is way larger than a deer.
Yeah,
They roam way farther distances. I'm
yeah,
pretty
for sure.
But damn, I wish we wouldn't have lost our thread on talking about like
Spirituality.
just spirituality. Yeah, I'm
what do you think
I'm
about
total-
Ouija boards?
I don't know. I'm totally convinced that all of this could totally just be in our head.
I do too. It could totally be like just a
Totally.
manifestation in our head of.
But that doesn't make it not real.
Yeah, exactly. Experiences are real regardless of where they come from. Every experience is real. But yeah, like, what do you think about like Ouija boards and like speaking, or seances? Do you think you can have like an oracle come to a seance and speak to spirits through like
don't
certain
know.
ritual chanting?
I have no clue, dude.
I don't know, but because I'm not a very religious person, and all of that's like they're chanting something from like a religious text that then summons the spirit world. So like I don't know, and
We're
it's
so secular. We're so separated from it.
yeah, it's just that's hard to say because I believe it could totally be possible. Like, why do we have all these stories if it never happened, or is it just crazy bitches? Just crazy bitches bringing you to fucking scary places and getting you to light candles and talking to you like they're possessed.
It very well could be charismatic motherfuckers.
It really could be just cult leaders who get you to come and convince you that they can talk to the dead.
Yeah, I wish, I don't know, I wish there was a way to know.
And I do think there's a very big distinction between spirits and demons.
Seems like it.
But it all stems from religion. But like demons, like if you summon a spirit, that's one thing. Summon a demon, you might open a portal to the underworld. Like that is a scary fucking thing. I don't know. I don't know how much I believe in any of this, but it doesn't mean I can't be scared of it just because I don't believe in it.
I wish so badly that I had a better understanding of because we have a good understanding of the Western world.
Yeah.
And some native things, but
you wish your perspective could be a little bigger, a little wider.
Yeah, like how do the Tibetan monks
think of this?
Like what do they think about the spirit realm?
Right.
Or like
I see what you mean, yeah.
Like there's so many different perspectives and religions around the world. Like I'm sure you could read about it.
Oh, I'm sure it's well documented. I mean, like why did the Egyptians mummify people?
I think it really is ultimately one of those. It's like you said, it's like aliens. It's like it's tied to religion. It's like tied to the story of life after death. Like it's so ingrained to who we are as humans.
Like you said a few episodes back, talking about speaking in tongues, we are not as spiritual people. We're more intellectual in the head. We're not in the body. We don't act on feelings. We act on logic most of the time, thoughts, ideas. So do you think there's certain people that are more connected in that way? Like Denise, for example, I know she is very entranced by the idea of the spirit world in a lot of ways. Like, I don't know. Like, what about like reading tarot cards? Or like I don't know, man. I don't know. Like it seems like some people find a lot of logic in that and find meaning in that, and like I don't see it that way.
I don't either. Maybe we should get more in touch with our spiritual beings.
Well, it's always the goal, right?
Is it?
Well, I mean, like to be more at peace and more in tune with nature. It's always a huge goal of mine, and I feel like that goes hand in hand with being in tune with the spirit world. Like. I don't know. I think if anything, it's nature. But like, why is it just conscious people? You know,
you were talking about like, elephants experience grief. I wonder if there's any other animals that like contemplate the afterlife.
Well, they say that dogs are a lot more in tune with spirits.
I've heard that.
Yeah, a lot of people have said that. That's a big
That's fucking
thing.
Weird.
That is very weird.
I trust dogs better than I trust humans.
Which might be a good thing. Maybe like there's this story that I'm thinking of.
Christ.
Like it was this lady's dog in like a hospital or something. I heard this like on TV a long time ago as a kid. This lady's dog. She was in the hospital, and she had her dog, and the dog was like outside of the room or something. Like it was I forget. But anyway, the dog starts barking and like runs to the lady's room, and she had passed. She was dead in there, and the dog knew it. The dog like led the doctors to be like, "Hey, something's happening in here." Like I don't know. And there's obviously ghost stories of dogs. Like there's Happy Dog, which is a ghost story around here, where people see.
I've heard that
like
story.
a white ghostly dog running through cemeteries and shit. That's a big one around here. Or like what?
It could be that the unified consciousness that we've created is so rich, and we're all tied into it.
So, but how deep does the life? Like, okay, I guess it makes sense.
Does that make sense? What I'm saying?
Yeah, and I guess it makes sense with dogs because
They're
we have
so
connected them to our consciousness.
So tied into our consciousness.
But like, nobody's gonna argue that there's like ghost plants.
Right. Or ghost fish.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But there's also like
That's a good point. You never see a fucking ghost
tree
or a ghost deer.
Mushroom or a ghost deer.
Right.
Like, so is it domesticated animals because we've tapped them into our consciousness?
It's weird.
Or
it's
like there's some Some spirits are very positive, like Gray Man. They see the Gray Man walking on the beaches of South Carolina.
That's an alien.
And he would come in and warn people about the storm coming and let them know that they needed to get out of there, that a bad storm was coming. He was a positive spirit. That's the story of the Gray Man. Just a random entity showed up to your house and was like, hey, there's a bad storm coming. You need to get out.
That's fucking weird, dude. I don't know.
And so
part of me feels like there has to be. I don't know. I can't call it either way, man.
Me either.
Do you think we get the answer when we die? I've already asked you that. You think
I think nothing happens when we die.
You think we don't get the answers?
I think.
I'm betting everything, and I'm literally thinking that that's one of the reasons that we're so fascinated and we build it so elaborately, the spirit world in our brains, is because we want it so bad to be real, and we get some answers to our origins when we die. That's that's one of the most deep desires of humans, I feel like.
But is that just because we're terrified of uncertainty? And that's the most uncertain thing that we ever encounter. So we make up stories to make it feel better as we're alive before it happens.
Possible.
That's what I lean towards. I think we make it up.
So you think there's no spirits?
I wouldn't say that though. Like, I don't know. I don't. Because I guess if I'm saying I'm not dismissing an afterlife. I think there's absolutely the potential of an afterlife. So, but to say that I think there's spirits means there has to be an afterlife. But I just don't know. Like,
have you seen the videos of
what if a spirit is not the soul of that person living on, but our connection, like we were saying, to the energy and emotion that was felt in that place and time, and their soul is gone, but for some reason there's a little consciousness left over that we can tap into. I guess that could exist without an afterlife. Just remnants of consciousness.
Have you seen those videos of modern pastors like casting out evil spirits and demons out of people's body, and they're like,
"Be gone, demon!"
They're shaking like the power of Christ. The power of Christ is enough,
and you shall see.
Have you seen that?
Yeah,
and there are people
Ernest Angsley and shit.
People are literally fucking like.
I think that's the power of persuasion. I think that's hypnotism.
That is wild shit.
I think that's hypnotism.
That is wild shit.
Again, I think that's the power of our consciousness. I don't think that's them actually reacting to a spirit or the power of Christ. I think that is truly hypnotism.
That way. Because I'm proposing that we've built this rich fabric.
Right. And you know
what I mean?
that some people are more susceptible to being hypnotized than other people.
Oh, of course.
So these religious folk who have believed this their entire lives and are fully on board with the idea that he is channeling the spirit, they're obviously going to be extremely susceptible to his hypnotism because they believe everything that he's saying. So I think it's hypnosis, man. As far as that specifically is concerned, I don't know about like true exorcisms, but I think that's hypnosis. That's definitely where I would go with that.
It's so weird.
Man, I guess we can start winding down. I know we're over an hour.
Dude, I don't know.
This has been fun. Honestly, it's not nearly as creepy as I wanted it to be. I'm not creeped out at all.
I like our effigy.
It's
not really an effigy.
If you stumbled upon this,
it's kind of weird,
and nobody was here,
it's weird.
You'd very much be wondering what the fuck somebody was doing here. But again, it's not an asylum. It's not an insane ward. It's not a hospital. No atrocities happened here, except maybe on the grounds that slaves marched on. But, long before the school was built. But I think good spirits live here. This was one of the first desegregated schools.
I didn't experience any spirits, so I'm still on the no spirit side.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I swear, if something happens, packing up, maybe
we really tried. We tried so hard.
I'm going to keep the camera rolling until all of our equipment's packed up except the light and the camera.
Word.
Just in case anything happens, it'll be on camera.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I don't know, man. We really tried. We tried to convince ourselves that spirits were real. I feel like
we put ourselves in the right place, but we came with respect. Maybe nothing's bothering us because they know that we're two good dudes here with respect. We mean no harm. We're just trying to further the conversation in the world. This was really fun. I invested a lot of money in this episode. This is really fun.
How much was this candle setup?
All these candles were
reimburse you.
over $50 just for the candles. My costume was another like 50,
My costume was like 35.
and half of this costume was from Goodwill. But shipping this hat here cost me $50.
To get the hat.
Just the hat was $50. The candles were $50.
The hat is like the main deal.
Like the pumpkin, the skull, all of that was $5 a piece. So please enjoy this episode. Watch our clips. Just watch our clips. That's all I want. That's the whole reason.
Isn't that weird?
Please. Well, we did it for us, but then we were like, holy shit, those clips are going to be fire.
Right. Hopefully we got hopefully we got some creepy moments.
Hopefully in a couple of creepy moments, like a ghost pops in through the door and just we see it on camera. I can post that.
Crazy.
The ghost is just like, sweet. I'll be creeping with 2 paddles. Fuck yeah, dude. Y'all keep doing it.
I listen to y'all every week.
Hell yeah, dude. I'm tuning in as you're recording.
I'm sitting in the room with you motherfuckers.
Oh, we're like, hell yeah, bro. Fucking dap it up. What do you mean?
I don't know. I think that can be a thing too. I think that it's possible that we somehow can be conscious outside of it. I think that's still possible.
I do too.
Possible.
I think anything's possible.
But I just think we're trying
anything's
to build it.
possible.
I think
There's
we're
just
really trying to build it.
We're not trying to.
We're building it.
Yeah, it's just happening. We're not trying to build anything.
Isn't that weird?
It's just a product of our life. Oh man, life is a fucking wild thing. Let's enjoy it while we're still here and not in the spirit realm.
Yeah.
Listen, still, I'm sure the spirit realm's I'm sure it's fun out there, spirits. I'm sorry. I don't
Peace
mean
be with you, spirits.
no disrespect. I'm just saying we're going to enjoy it while we still can breathe. Yeah, we'll end with that. Yeah, joke's on you. We had a light. All right, thank you for listening. Love you guys. Let's hope we don't get kidnapped or molested by spirits as we're packing this up. Love you guys.